Hello and welcome to Health Matters. We're so glad you could join us. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. A stroke is caused by the interruption of blood supply to the brain when a blood vessel bursts or is blocked by a clot. This cuts off the supply of oxygen and nutrients, resulting in brain tissue damage. According to the World Health Organization statistics, 6.7 million people worldwide died of stroke in 2012. It is reported that over the past 10 years, the death rate from stroke has fallen about 35%. However, it is still a leading cause of disability, but also the leading preventable cause of disability. Sudden weakness and numbness of the face, arm, or leg are just some of the symptoms of stroke. My guest on the show is Dr. Temitope Lawal. Dr. Lawal is the clinical director of TDL Neurology Limited, a member of the Nigerian Society of Neurological Sciences, the Movement Disorders Society, and the American Academy of Neurology. You're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's start by asking, why on earth would there be a clot in the first place, blocking blood supply?
Okay. Thank you for that question. A clot can be formed if it can come from the heart or it can come from the blood vessel itself. Okay? It can come when the what you call the factors in the blood, the things that make the blood liquid or solid, if there's like a disruption in that balance. Okay? So when that happens, a clot can be formed either in the heart or in the blood vessels, and it can dislodge or it can form in the blood vessels of the brain. Do you understand? Okay.
I understand perfectly. How many types of stroke do we have? Do we have different types of stroke?
Okay. Stroke can be broadly defined as, classified as ischemic or hemorrhagic. Okay. The ischemic type is the type where the blood cuts off due to the clots. Okay. And they also call it a dry stroke. Okay.
Dry stroke.
Yeah. The hemorrhagic type is the one that the blood vessel bleeds. So I liken it to a tap. Let's say this building receives a tap from a pipe that comes to your tap. So whenever the tap gets blocked by a sludge or anything, you won't get water, right? But if the pressure in the tap gets so high, the tap can just burst,
so it's
and you still won't get water.
So it's pressure that causes it to break open?
For a lot of the strokes, yes. If the blood pressure is too high, the blood vessel can just burst. But there are some other reasons why some people can have like the clots, like the blood vessel tearing apart. If somebody is taking too much blood thinners, for example, it can make the blood vessel to, just bleed out, into the system.
Okay, a while back, we were talking about statistics and all that, and people generally agree that the stroke formed by a clot is more common than the one formed by the rupture of a blood vessel. But you were saying that's not what you see in practice.
Okay, well, generally, it's really true that the clot type, that's the ischemic, is common. But we realized that the bleeding type could approach, it could be as common as the clot type, because people tend to be more alarmed when they say bleed or when they have features of the bleed. For example,
we are going to the features now. Those are the symptoms of a stroke. What are they?
Okay. We like to use this FAST. Okay. If the FAST acronym.
Yes.
F is for if there is a sudden facial deviation. Okay. A is for, so if you see somebody's face just looks abnormally asymmetrical,
skewed to
like
one
this,
side,
or like this. Okay. Then A is when the weakness, if there's weakness of an arm or a leg. Okay. Then S is when there's a problem with the speech, okay? And T is time. Quickly get the person to the hospital as fast as possible.
So those are the major symptoms? Those are
the most common symptoms. Okay. Any part of the brain that serves a function can cause, if there's a deficit in that function, due to the blood supply impairment.
You said
it can
any part of the brain.
So even
let me
your eyes,
hazard
yeah.
a guess.
Okay.
The brain, any part of the brain. That means that the person could feel dizzy. That means that the person could feel tired. That means that the person could faint.
Yeah,
These are all things controlled by the brain. I'm just guessing now because it looks like, okay, that's the fast. These are the most common ones that you spoke about. But this person could maybe have a problem standing up. Isn't that right?
Yeah, once the leg is weak, you could have a problem
Could there be
standing up.
confusion?
Suddenly, yeah, definitely.
So just about anything.
Even your eyes, if you have sudden loss of vision, we need to think of a stroke.
Sudden loss of vision.
Sudden loss of vision.
I need to quickly ask you if that vision will ever come back.
It can come back. It can. It depends on how fast you attend to it, or how fast you find out that if this is a stroke, there are things that can be done if the person seeks medical attention on time.
Okay. Now, we've mentioned two types of stroke, but I've heard a term called transient ischemic attack. What's that? Is it different or is it part of the stroke itself?
Okay, transient ischemic attack is some people call it a little stroke or a mono stroke. It's when there's a sudden loss of function of supply by any part of the brain for a few minutes, usually like 10 minutes or less than an hour. The WHO, World Health Organization, has defined it as less than 24 hours. That definition has been in the 70s, but it frequently occurs just for about 10 minutes, okay? But because with current technology, there are ways that you can quickly attend to a stroke patient within hours. So right now, as soon as you get any symptom, even within the hour, try and get to the hospital.
But the thing is, in this transient ischemic attack, how strong are the symptoms? Do people notice? If somebody just feels slightly dizzy, you're likely to attribute it to, hunger, low blood sugar, and not a stroke.
Okay. Well, usually the type of presentation for a transient ischemic attack could be a sudden blindness in one eye.
Okay, it can be that bad.
Yes, and that should alarm anybody. You suddenly get blind in one eye, you should quickly get to the hospital. You could suddenly get weak on one side of the body, okay? But dizziness, dizziness has so many meanings. So once you have anything that you're not comfortable with, any feature that you're not comfortable with, that is of sudden onset. The key is sudden onset. Quickly find your way to the hospital. It's better to just get to the hospital and the doctor will tell you, hey, okay, it's not that much of a problem, than for you to just ignore it at home. Okay?
Okay, now, what are the risk factors of stroke? It's not everybody who gets a stroke. So who is likely to get a stroke, or who is more likely to get a stroke?